Men who think confidence is enough will be replaced. Sad, but true. The main piece of dating advice that gets given to everybody, by every content creator on the planet, by every dating coach on the planet, is simply be more confident, bro. And I'm here to tell you that in and of itself, it doesn't work. It's not going to work for you. With that being said, the huge caveat here is, of course, confidence is a key skill set. If you don't have confidence, you don't have anything else. But it's a little bit day one, first year, if that makes sense, as advice goes. It's a bit like saying, well, if you want to be a painter, you have to own paintbrushes, right? I mean, yeah, it's true, and it makes sense, but it's very baseline, okay? Yes, you have to have confidence, but if you have confidence that is uncalibrated, okay, or if you have confidence but nothing else is in place, like your look is bad, your physique is bad, your status is bad, you know, you haven't sorted out your financial situation, okay, if you dress like crap, if you don't go to the gym, etc., then confidence in itself is not going to work for you, okay? Yes, you need confidence, but to a degree, but that's a sort of minimum entry requirement, all right? Like I say, it's like if you're a painter and you need some paintbrushes, right? It's just an obvious thing, okay? And what does confidence really mean in this context anyway? Well, it means the ability to walk up and talk to another human being, because that's all we're talking about here, folks. That's all we're talking about, you know? As mystifying as all of this stuff apparently is, and it is for a lot of people, and that's fair because we don't get taught this stuff and it's kind of not properly inculcated in our culture anymore. But in the end, you need the confidence to be able to go up and have a conversation with another human being. That's what this comes down to. Let me go run over there. That's what this comes down to. Having the confidence to go up to another human being and talk to them, all right? So yeah, you need the confidence for that, but it shouldn't be very much confidence. We're not talking about making a speech in front of 200 people. We're not talking about debating in front of a live audience, okay? We're not talking about taking part in or leading a political rally. We're talking about the ability to walk up to another human being and say, hey, you know, I wanted to come and meet you. That's kind of it, really. So yes, you do need some confidence, but let's not overblow this. Let's not pretend that you need to become some kind of superhero, all right? How do you get that confidence? Well, the way that you get that confidence is simply by doing the thing, okay? There is really no other way. There's no way around it. There's no easy, quick fix for this. There's no sort of 6 tips that are going to help you to become confident. I mean, yeah, there are some things. I mean, you can try affirmations, okay? You can say affirmations every morning. I used to do that. It's really good. It was quite effective. You could try meditation. You could try hypnosis. You could try visualization. You could do journaling. You know, write a journal every morning, say some of the best things about you, why you're so great, okay? That could work. All of these things can help, but the only thing that's really going to get you there is by actually doing it, okay? It's a bit like trying to learn to swim from a computer, okay? The only way that you can learn to swim is by actually getting into the water and doing it. There's no other way. You know, AI is not going to get you there, okay? Googling articles about how to swim is not going to get you there. I mean, reading some of them, yes, it may give you some information. It may tell you a few useful nuggets about the best technique, okay? But it's not actually going to teach you to swim. And it's exactly the same thing with social skills. Social skills are learned and taught in the field, all right? You have to actually be in amongst it. You have to be in the thick of it, you know? One of the reasons that I record these videos outside is because I want to challenge myself, okay? It's because I'm walking around and, I mean, it's kind of raining now, so there's not that many people here, but, you know, you're walking around, there's a lot of people around, and at points there will be people who will look and they'll take an interest or whatever, and you've got to be prepared to shut that out and just carry on. So I'm in even doing this, the reason that I'm doing this like here and not behind a desk somewhere is because I want to push myself socially, okay? I want to increase my confidence so that, you know, I can walk around and talk about this stuff to a camera and have people look and not care, all right? So I do it a lot, okay? And the reason that I'm able to do it, and generally speaking not get put off and be able to carry on and not really pay too much attention to the people around me, is because I've been doing it for a long time. I've been practicing it for a long time. So what might a peripheral benefit of doing this be, apart from the fact I'm making content? Well, a peripheral benefit for me personally is that it makes social situations easier. Because if you're somebody who spent years walking around with a camera, talking to themselves in the street and getting funny looks on people and not caring, how hard do you think it is to, you know, walk up to somebody at a bar in a kind of warm social situation and say hello? Well, obviously it's significantly easier, all right? So you have to, in my experience, put yourself on the line in social situations, okay? And it's not just this. I mean, this is one small element, you know, talking to camera, and I'm obviously doing it. The bigger reason is I'm making content and I want to be out and about and show you a bit of London and other cities that I go to. But there's a whole host of other things that I've done over the years, putting myself into socially difficult situations. And not just talking about approaching women that I was attracted to. I mean, also just at parties, you know, going up to a group of 4 or 5 people and introducing myself and starting a conversation, doing that repeatedly, many hundreds, if not thousands of times over many years, decades in fact, okay? I did a post earlier talking about introversion versus shyness. I was both introverted and shy. I still am introverted in the sense that, you know, I like to kind of go home at the end of the day and shut the door and be on my own and, you know, think, oh, thank God I don't have to deal with anybody, you know? I mean, I'm introverted in that sense. I'm not shy now because I've spent the last 20 or 30 years consistently putting myself in situations which, when I was a teenager or 20 or in my early 20s, would have been completely impossible for me or very difficult because I was shy as well. So I was afraid of what people thought about me. I didn't want to rock the boat. I didn't want to risk anybody thinking something negative about me or certainly expressing that to me. It seemed like it would be completely horrific if that happened. What you realise, and when you think about it logically, is that it doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't really matter what any of these people, you know, who are around me now think, if they see me walking with a camera, if I go into a bar and I talk to some people there and, you know, it doesn't matter what those people think because I'm never going to see them again. And you start to realise over time how meaningless all of this is. But if you are somebody like me who found it incredibly difficult and it was very tied up with ego, you need to actually do it, okay? You need to actually go out and take those risks, okay? And there is a risk inherent in this because the reality is that not everybody's going to like you, okay? And in a dating context, you know, you can approach somebody that you're attracted to, go and talk to her. There's a pretty good chance that she's not going to be interested, okay? There's a pretty good chance that she's going to say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. And that's okay. All right, as long as you do it in a calibrated, polite manner, okay? You're not doing anything outrageous. You're just going up and saying hello, making some comment about, you know, what she's wearing or her style or something like that, and seeing what the response is, okay? Maybe the response is going to be negative. Who cares? What does it matter? All right, you're never going to see her again. If you live in a large city anyway, and you probably should live in a large city if you want to really expand your social network. Or if you're traveling, and again, you probably should be traveling if you want to meet different people and, you know, really get experience with this stuff. Nobody cares because, you know, you're never going to see her again. She's going to forget about it the next day. That's it. It's done, okay? I was so stuck in my head with this stuff for so long. It was completely absurd, and it doesn't even logically make sense. I mean, I'm a relatively intelligent guy, right? But I was still, you know, tied up with this thought of like, oh my God, but if somebody at this small bar that I go to on a Thursday night doesn't like me, oh my God, it's terrible. It doesn't fucking matter. Nobody cares, okay? And but the way to break through this is you need to teach the body and you need to teach the nervous system how to do this, okay? And the way to do that is by doing it, all right? So if you're sitting there and you're like, you know, my dating life's not what it could be, I just never meet anybody, or I'm on these apps but I never get matches, or when I do get matches she ghosts and blah blah blah. It's like, bro, you need to 10x, you need to 100x what you're doing. You need to get off the apps, frankly. You need to get out there, get off the apps, go to it. Like, we've got a pub here. This is an actual old school English pub behind me here. You need to come somewhere like that, go somewhere like that. Go and talk to some people, okay? It's not very hard, but most of us don't do it because the modern world has trained us to be stuck to our devices the whole time. The modern world has trained us to be stuck to phones 24/7, okay? So we're not doing it. We're not being taught to do it. Nobody else is being taught to do it. So everybody, in the end, is sitting in their bedroom doing nothing except scrolling on one of the social media apps, and they're all kind of the same now anyway, watching reels. And, you know, I enjoy that as much as the next man, but it's not going to help you if you're sitting there and you're like, well, my life's going nowhere, okay? The digital maze that all of us in is a scam. Certainly as far as making things happen in the real world is concerned. You know, dating apps, for the most part, don't work very well for most regular guys, okay? Now, there are exceptions to that, and, you know, when you travel and stuff, you could, you know, they can be useful, but for the most part, dating apps for a guy in a suburban town, or, you know, a regular place in the US or the UK or the Anglosphere, is not getting good results on dating apps, okay? Well, sod the dating apps, throw them away, get out there, okay? You know, you're the one who has to take hold of your life. You're the one who has to control that narrative. You're the one who has to get out there and make things happen, all right? And you're going to be met with failure a lot of the time. Well, okay, fine, boo-hoo, you know, cry me a river. I mean, it doesn't really matter, you know? If you've got a business and you're trying to sell things to people, you know, a lot of people just aren't going to want to buy for one reason or another, whatever. You've got to work with that as much as you can, but also accept that that's just the nature of life, okay? But if you keep going at it, you're going to find people who do resonate with you. You're going to find people who are interested in whatever it is that you're promoting, okay? Exactly the same with the dating stuff as well. Anyway, I hope you found this one helpful. Please do subscribe to the channels if you haven't already. Our course is open right now. Approach Accelerator is open right now. So if you need help with this stuff, we've got, I think, about 6 places left now. So it's going to start on the 14th of February, on Valentine's Day. We will fill up soon. So if you're interested, there's a link below. Click on that link, or drop me an email, troy@troyfrancis.com, or drop me a DM on one of the platforms. You can just put help or put approach in the subject line. Make sure you incorporate your WhatsApp details as well, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye-bye.